All right, go ahead.
Just to start, your overall impression of your bracket, and then maybe the whole tournament, how it looks.
I don't worry about the rest of the tournament. I'm really proud of our team. A year ago, we lose 4 starters. We're down to 7 scholarship players before we start adding guys. And we were able to add 3 grad transfers that brought a lot of character and a lot of desire to play in this tournament. And it's something that, I'll never take for granted. This is my 20th NCAA tournament as a player, assistant coach, head coach, and every one of them I feel like I'm 9 years old on Christmas morning. And so I'm really proud of our group. I started looking at all the number 1 and 2 seeds that our teams played. I mean, I'm not a historian, but I'd be hard pressed to think many teams have played that many 1s and 2s throughout the course of the regular season. So our team is battle tested, and we're going to play a team that is very physical, that prides itself on rebounding and drawing fouls, and has played well as of late. So I don't worry about the rest of the other 66 teams in the tournament. I worry about.
You don't look at your bracket. I mean,
you do.
Yeah.
But
That's
just to say, okay, those are the other teams. That's it. That's all I think about is how can we beat Minnesota.
Had you seen Minnesota?
Not really. Like every coach that's in the college game, games are on at night, but you have your own team, you have your own opponent that's up next, and that's really what you're focused on. But I'd be lying if I didn't say, games weren't on in the background. But I didn't have a great feel for them 2 hours ago. I'll continue to try to get a better and better feel as the hours roll on.
Do you have any thoughts on a tip time? I think it's 11 a.m. local time on Thursday.
As long as it's the same time for Minnesota as us. I'm not worried about it.
You ever or will use some of your personal experiences with a current team? What I'm thinking about this team is you could relate maybe to the 2017 season when you lost a bunch of games at the end. You were 11 seed and got all the way to the Elite 8. I mean, you ever?
Yeah, we talk about it. I try to use any experience that I've had. I mean, I think that's what you do. You draw on experiences that you remember, things that you think can help your current team, and this year's team's no different. But when they tip the ball up, Thursday morning or Thursday early afternoon, depending on where you're watching the game, it's whoever's better that day.
Is that a legitimate analogy between 17 and this team with the?
I mean, not really. We lost our starting point guard with about 15 games to go and had to play a freshman who was, maybe playing 10 minutes a game prior to that. Then we lost our leading scorer for 3 games and missed the losing streak and had to try to manufacture points. So, this group is one that I've said hasn't always had a ton of experience in these moments and in these games that we've played. But I think they're better having played them and having been in those moments before. And we've done it against the best teams in the country. So we're going to have to draw on those experiences when we're in tournament play, because as you know, it's one and done.
Most of your guys haven't played in the NCAA tournament before. How do you approach that, and what do you tell them?
That's okay. I don't think Minnesota's much more experienced. So it's a basketball game, and we just have to, attack. We have to play to our identity, make sure that defensively we're locked in, we're in a stance, and we're racking up kills, and we're pushing the ball and trying to take advantage of what we can do in transition. It's a basketball game.
Chris, do you know Richard Pitino at all?
I know him a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say great. He's always been really good to me. But, we all sit on the same AAU stools during the recruiting periods.
Is there anything about his teams that you've seen over the years, anything consistent? And you mentioned the rebounding with this particular
Just being really physical. They're a team that almost at every position has really good size. They draw an awful lot of fouls, especially when they win games, getting to the free throw line. So we're going to have to be a team that, again, tries to keep the ball out of the lane. It's who we've tried to be all year long, and we're going to have to be at our best on Thursday to do that in advance.
When that came up on the screen, did some of the guys talk about, some of them played with Mott's, they know Mott's stuff, is that something that came up in the...
Yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure the whispers between players and teammates, I'm sure that was part of it. Yeah.
Did you have a sense that you thought 7 might be the spot you would land, or did you, once you got done with the tournament, did you then start thinking about it, I guess?
Knowing that we were going to be in the tournament, I didn't worry myself on whether we were a 7, 6, and 8, because as you know, sometimes you're slotted as a 6, but they have to move you to a 7, or you're slotted as a 7, they have to move you to an 8. And the unique thing was, I felt like every 2 seed that was going on the board, we had played in the NCAA tries to keep you from having a matchup that you've had in previous years in the second round. But, with who we've played, it was almost an impossibility. I was hoping they'd maybe seed us 3 or 4 just to get that out of the way.
Was the Michigan State game earlier this season, for you, you had said before the year you thought this was an NCAA team, no matter where you're picked in the ACC, whatever. Was that game, though, was that important for you in seeing it on the court, beating a team like that?
No, it was important. Hindsight is important because of our resume and needing wins like that. I learned a lot about our team in New York. Certainly we wanted to win one, if not both of them. Felt like we had the Marquette game, but came back with the sense of, if those are 2 of the top 20 programs in the country, then we can give ourselves a chance to win on any given night. And I think our players felt that way as well. We never felt like, we were playing so above our heads that, gosh, we're going to have to match that in order to keep a game close. Never felt that way. And I think those 2 games against those 2 opponents sort of gave our guys a sense of like, we need to play better in certain areas to finish games and win games. And so it was nice, to be able to do that the very next game against a very, very high-level opponent. I think it gave our guys a shot in the arm. And we needed it because that's the type of teams we played damn near all year.
Chris, you mentioned the whispers about Mott on the other side. Any whispers about there being Patino on the other side? Different one, but...
Not really. It's the elephant in the room. I coached a few of the guys that played for Coach Patino. It's his son. I would hope for the Minnesota players and for our guys that the game becomes about the game. Can't control what people are going to talk about or write about or report on, but you can only beat a horse so long.
Do you like where your team is going into the NCAA?
Hell yeah, it beats going to the other ones.
where they're playing and the way that you're playing and so forth.
Do I think we can play better in certain areas? Yes, but as I've said before, I think our team spirit has been a really good one. I've really enjoyed coming to practice with our group. We're not perfect. We have some holes here and there, but so do a lot of teams in this tournament. And for our guys to continue to fight and stick together, we went through a tough month. And, the teams in our league can steal your confidence, especially when they're playing at a high level. But, we earned where we are today. And, there are teams that go into the NCAA tournament. Just look at the history of the tournament. There are teams that go in on such a roll, and they're home on Thursday night. And there's teams that, have lost a few in a row down the stretch, and no one really believes in them. Next thing you know, they're in the Elite Eight. And I've seen both sides of it, like you talked about before. So, I know our group is excited to play. I'm sure Minnesota, they'll be excited to play as well. But, our guys have worked hard since the spring, when we took over, and I'm glad they've had this moment.
With that, it's such a short turnaround, especially playing one of the first games on Thursday. Did you have a scout already going for different teams, and how do you proceed now that we're playing?
We did. In 2019, it's much easier to get information on opponents. All the different companies and internet sites that will feed you information just at the touch of a couple clicks and your Visa card. So we had a lot of information on a lot of teams that were possibilities for us, but nothing beats watching them on tape and trying to figure it out and getting a feel versus others' opinions. So all those sites and stuff are great, but we don't use a whole lot of that stuff. We call a few coaches and they'll do the same on us, but I like seeing who I'm playing and trying to figure it out on my own.
How many is there a number of games there you watch? We watch all of them? We watch?
No, I won't watch all of them. When I feel like I really start to get a bead on that team, when you start to feel like it's just information overload, or not, I shouldn't say overload, it just becomes repetitive. You see the same out of bounds plays, you figure out, what they're looking for in the half court, where they're vulnerable. Then you just go about trying to put together your practice plan and figure a way to message that to your team.
Is that practice plan? Is that important as the team attitude that you mentioned coming out of a rough February? What are you taking for your team? What do you want them to do?
As crazy as it sounds, I think I've always wanted my team to really be excited and energized coming to practice. And I don't think every team is at the end of the year. And there's so much to play for, and these are the games that everybody remembers the most. These are lifetime memories sitting in front of you if you can grab them. And so we try to make a conscious decision about limiting practice time, really trying to streamline our scouting and get our guys in the mindset of really wanting to be at practice and wanting to get better and having an energy about them. I think that's really, really important. And this is what you play for. It's what you work for all year.
One more for Coach.
Did you sense that tonight, just in the immediate minutes after the reveal? Were the guys excited? Like, what was the mood?
Yeah, guys were really excited. That was probably the shortest wait I've ever had. Boom, it was on the screen. But knowing that you're getting your name called versus not sure, I'm sure there's a different joy. More about an intrigue of who are we going to play, where are we going to be, what day are we playing. But make no mistake, there's an excitement. Our guys are really, really excited about being a part of the NCAA tournament, as they should be.
Okay, back there. Good. Okay. All right, go ahead.